feels like a term.
I think it's one of those things. It's like, it sounds cool, and it wasn't a term yesterday, but it is today.
I mean,
thank you, artists.
Who knows? There are so many terms that don't make sense to me. I understand absolutely nothing, and yet I understand everything. And that's why I went to college.
I have so much to go in on this topic now. Oh my god. So my drawing teacher, I have to preface this by saying my drawing teacher is like in his 50s, and I got him to do a handstand for me.
Beautiful.
He acts and he's in the circus, and but he will invent terms all the time, and they'll they won't be legitimate, but they will make so much sense that the rest of the school just adopts them.
I think first, okay, we've started. We're live now. Hello, welcome to CrypKidz, our disaster Drawcast. I'm your host, Felonous Felony. This is
and I'm Brockjay.
Yeah! Brockjay, what kind of cryptid are you?
Send me the BuzzFeed quiz.
Can you describe your cryptid in 4 colors or less?
No. That would defeat the purpose.
Okay, describe it in 4 colors or more.
Okay. So, first color is obviously like, what do they call it? A marathon. Aight. Second color is, oops. Third color is, Fourth one is, can't be replicated with human speech. I have to get a bird to say the name of the fourth color. The fifth color is the number 3.
Honestly, I'm in tears. I didn't know you felt this way about the colors and yourself.
I just be telling it how it is.
You're such a deep and wise soul in a way that I cannot be.
I don't know about that.
Take the compliment, bitch. Take it. Take
Fine.
it. I give so few.
I'm taking it.
Take the hit.
I'm beautiful.
Yes, you are. You're beautiful, like the majestic buffalo.
Beautiful like a buffalo. That rolled off the tongue much better than it should have. Whoa.
That's because you're beautiful like a buffalo.
I mean, there's nothing preventing buffaloes from being beautiful inherently, I suppose.
Excuse me. Are you saying buffaloes are beautiful?
I think it depends on the buffalo.
All buffaloes are queens, Brock.
I don't know about that one. You know how all humans aren't queens?
Excuse me. No humans are queens. Queens were invented in the late 80s in order to sell pizza rolls.
Let me think about that one. So if we're going under the assumption that this is entirely like actually what happened, and we're going to take it extremely seriously, butterfly effect is about to come into play. Monarchy invented to sell pizza rolls. Let's see.
I mean, if you can't see the obvious connection.
It's there. I don't see it up front, but I'm determined to find it. Okay.
See, what we need to discuss is obviously the history of voguing.
Voguing?
Yes, voguing in the ballroom scene, as well as the notion of the drag queen. As you can see, there were no actual queens. Queens did not actually exist. Queen Elizabeth is a lie that was invented by the British in order to make themselves feel more palatable during colonialism. Queen Elizabeth was simply a pile of socks.
Oh,
Now, as we all know, making yourself looking more palatable in your terms of colonialism, as well as making yourself look better than the French, because frankly, if you can say, look, France, I have a female ruler, that's how woke I am. What do you got? What is France gonna do, huh? France is a little bitch country, so France says, yeah, like, we got a queen. Look at that. It's a queen. Anyway, this continues back and forth, and eventually, countries just make this thing where they say they have queens. We all know that they're a lie, but, like, nobody's actually gonna come out and say, yeah, queen.
frick. I was talking to someone the other day that was like, who? I have to be careful with my words. Who was I talking to? Apparently, like, Queen Elizabeth has as many scandals or worse as Trump.
I mean, it depends which Elizabeth.
The current one.
I mean, I can see her having a fair amount of scandals, but, like, having more than Trump is kind of hard.
No, and, like, they're all as severe or worse.
Again, like, it's one of those things where I wouldn't doubt there being an abundance of scandals involving the current Queen Elizabeth, but it's really the as bad as Trump part where I'm like, I don't know. That's a little sus. Because, like, I hate to say it, Trump really has created a new standard for, like, scandal.
I suppose.
Like, in terms of being absolute scum. I don't know, like, there's, like, how many people can say, yeah, I've been at a party where I hanged out helping a convicted pedophile, point out girls to take?
Okay, well, like, let's start there then. Like, Epstein was probably involved with the royal family.
Are we bringing in...
Because he was involved with that other one. No, he was involved with one of the princes for sure. Because he was in a photo with his partner.
I can't believe I actually need a fucking reference picture for this. God. Sorry, I had this moment where I was like, yeah, I can do this. I don't need a reference picture. And then I've seen Road to El Dorado so many fucking times that this movie is ingrained in my brain.
Ladies and gentlemen, experienced felonists actually having to look up Road to El Dorado.
No, you don't understand.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence.
You don't understand. Okay, I think I've told you. I had a professor actually that he worked on Road to El Dorado.
This is the first I'm hearing about that.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. He left the school shortly after I got that class. He left her midway through sophomore year. But so I only got to have the one class with him. But Professor Scott, awesome dude, and I had him for my action analysis class, and he was like one of those guys who got in on DreamWorks on the ground floor. Like, you know the whale scene in got Prince of Egypt? He's responsible for that.
I am educating myself currently.
Wait.
Bold of you to assume I've seen Prince of Egypt in any capacity. That's me. That's me.
Bitch! Bitch, how dare you? How dare you? Get off of my stream! Leave! Leave! Leave, Simba, and never return! Oh my god. I can't, wow. I can't believe you genuinely... Don't tell me you've only seen the 3D works. If you say that, I will die.
Of DreamWorks?
Yes.
Let me think. Probably.
So you haven't seen Sinbad?
Sinbad.
I'm dying on the inside. I want you to know that.
I haven't seen Sinbad.
I want you to know that you are making me hurt inside.
This still summates to me binging all of their movies.
You
all of their 2D movies.
You really should, like, because, okay, one, Prince of Egypt is genuinely the only good film Jews have for Passover.
Whoa.
Like, there aren't a lot of movies for us, okay? There aren't a lot of movies for Jews. I don't know what we did to deserve it. I mean, I know that some will say it's because we nailed that Jesus guy, but, like, come on. He was kind of a narc.
He was kind of a Jew. Apologies.
No, it's okay. I've made worse.
Something.
Listen. I have made so many worse jokes about my own Jewishness and everything. Like, come on. I make Holocaust jokes all the time, but it's okay. I had relatives who died during it, so it's fine. They fell off the watchtower.
That's my favorite.
I know. It's one of my favorite too. Okay, that's a good one of the gold pile. That's a nice wide shot. That's a nice wide shot of that gold. But yeah, I had a class at SCAD with Professor Scott, and he's done some of, like, the most awesome shots and everything for my favorite DreamWorks movies and everything. But here's the thing. My favorite movie of all time genuinely is The Road to El Dorado. Like, civilization will crumble, nations will fall, the world will end, and I will still be able to quote to you The Road to El Dorado from start to finish, frame by frame, scene by scene. And I admitted this on my first day of class, without knowing who this professor was, and saying that my favorite film that I have memorized every line for is Road to El Dorado, and I will never forget what he said to me. And it was, well, so did I, but I was paid to do that. What's your excuse?
What do we even do then?
What
is the appropriate response to that?
I mean, dear God, I just dug deeper in. I said so many weird things during that class. I also just decided, you know what, every day I'm just gonna come in with weird facts about things. Every day. And he's just gonna look at me and be like, what's the weird fact of the day? And I'm gonna be like, turtles can breathe through their butts.
Fuck, that is a thing, isn't it?
It is a thing. Turtles can indeed breathe through their butts. And actually, quite a few species can. It's more common than people give it credit for. But it's not necessarily a breathing. It's, if I remember correctly, because it's been a while since I watched the video that went into more detail on turtles breathing through their butts. It's actually that they're, much like how you would process oxygen through your gills, it's essentially taking air out of the water through like a little bubble vacuum. So essentially, they create a vacuum in their butt, and they get air from the vacuum.
That's called a reverse fart.
It is actually. That's how they That's actually how they described it. It was great.
Man.
Okay, you know, I know this is supposed to be an upright card, but I can't work. I can't make this vertical without making this a bad composition.
I'm zoning in too much. I still need to jump on the stream. Hold up.
You're fine. You're fine.
Let's go.
Like, there, for record, this is a reference image of what I'm doing, because it's the Nine of Pentacles, which is to say, I have all of this money, and I am such a rich bitch. And...
I like it.
Yeah, and I love this film, and this is, like, one of my favorite scenes, in which, you know, they've got all of their gold, and it's like...
Whoa, spoilers.
On the one hand, gold. On the other hand, painful, agonizing failure. I do mean it. If you were to put me in front, I actually tell people not to watch this movie with me. Not because it is a bad movie, but because watching it with me is the worst experience you will ever have.
Yes.
Because I will just enthusiastically just be like, it seems El Dorado is native for Great Big Rock! And then I will do the echo, and I will time out the sound effects for the birds. And, yeah, that's... And now it's harder to watch that movie, because every time I hear Scott saying to me, wow, this is your favorite?
This one?
This one? This is the hill you die on? And, you know, Scott, you right.
No, fuck Scott.
I don't know.
Good movie.
I mean, it's a good movie, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, Scott, I get what you saying.
Wait, was it you, the last time we did this, that was like the perfect movie is not a 10 out of 10, it's a 7 out of 10?
I mean, we didn't talk about it on stream, but that is one of my principles, that the perfect movie is not a 10 out of 10, it's a 7 out of 10.
I still think about that. That just makes so much sense.
I mean, it's because, like, I think about when people say, the perfect movie, or when people talk about something that's absolutely amazing, or people, like, talk about media being great and renowned, and ooh, this is the movie everyone should be watching, everyone should be enjoying. All I can think about is that principle of, you know, the perfect movie is 10 out of 10, and how silly that makes it, because to me, one, I think it is incredibly impossible to make something that is 10 out of 10. Like, I think the closest you will ever get is maybe occasionally a Miyazaki film, or something of the sort, but even then, I don't think most Miyazaki films are 10 out of 10. I think they come very close. Even if I love them. The fascinating thing to me about the principle of the 10 out of 10 movie is that it is a 10 out of 10 that can only exist for a person. But mathematically, it can only be a 10 out of 10 if it's at least a 7 out of 10 from a technical standpoint, from an appeal. Road El Dorado, for me, is a perfect film. Because I have no complaints about it. And yet, it's not a film I would really think to tell everybody to watch. It's not a film that most people look at and go, instant classic. it's not a film that everybody just, like, is raving on about, you know? It's a very interesting thing of people love this even though it is technically it is forgotten and it is obscure even though technically it is perfect because it is a film that really isn't lacking anything, and that's the fascinating thing to me. A 10 out of 10 movie is never going to really have real appeal because that's not going to happen. And I actually think that's why the Road to El Dorado is a weird box office failure. It strangely is too good.
You want to talk about box office failures of that time? Oh my god.
I mean, listen. I will die angry about I will die angry about fucking Treasure Planet.
Me too.
Brett Sword's video is amazing and everything, but it also does not check. But like, it's also one of those things where like, it doesn't change the fact that there was also like rumor, or like this was one of those things that was a little tinfoil hatty. But there were rumors that like, essentially Eisner buried it because Roy Disney liked it, and I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Because
who liked it?
Eisner. Oh, because Roy Disney, and at the time they were having a feud, because, of course they were. And, oh god, I fucking, just, again, another movie that is technically a 7 out of 10. And I don't know anyone who went into Treasure Planet and hated it.
I don't know anyone that went into Treasure Planet. No, there was a whole... Oh my god. Like, my knowledge to this is limited off of a YouTube video, but, like, still. The advertising alone for Treasure Planet is enough to be like, Disney, what the fuck?
I mean, nah, like, it is very obvious by the advertising, by when it was released, that, no, like, Disney specifically went out of its way to bury it.
They were murdering this one baby.
Yeah, they were murdering this film. They were murdering this film for nothing more than a... Honestly, I genuinely think it was this idea that the new thing was gonna be 3D, and which... Yeah, sure, Disney. Like, I mean, 3D animation is amazing. 3D animation can do so much. But you can never really replace 2D. You can't. Like, there's a reason why it still runs strongly, even though we have so many other options now. It's the same with stop motion, okay? People are still doing stop motion, even though we all know that stop motion is 3D animation for people who hate themselves even more.
Encore.
And
I haven't heard that enough from people in my circles, and I'm in a class with someone from Leica Studios, and I don't hear that from him enough.
It's very interesting to me how people want to talk about animation, or or how, you know, like, there really does seem to be this attitude of just in 3D animation of, hey, or in animation of, hey, you know, we get it. We're the film department's unpopular, unloved cousin, which I think is so sad.
Because, like, I think about it, and it's like, because obviously animation's not limited to like the not cliche. It's not the word I'm looking for. The standard, like animated feature film, blobby characters that get botched onto concepts for kids shows and shit. That's like, it goes farther than that. The reason animation, like the places animation is prevalent in Hollywood is in like CG work for live action films, which is just a matter of subject matter.
Yeah, no,
What-
like, it's so
what kind
weird
of
that
medium
people
they
are not
accomplish.
willing to think CGI is animation. Like, they call it something else. Even though it's animation.
And it's all just based on context.
Yeah,
How that
it's
shit goes.
it's so fascinating to me, especially because, like, because at the end of the day, fucking it's 2D animation or fucking CGI animation. It's used so often that sometimes I'm like, you know, at this point it would be just cheaper to make your movie animated. But you won't, because there's some weird ass pride in Hollywood in treating animation like it's a lesser medium.
I think it's less of pride and more of fear always. You know what it is? Okay, hot take. Like magma ass take right here. 2D animation requires too much skill to be placed in one individual.
I mean, you're right.
To the point it's not to the point it's impossible, but to the point when it happens it's a liability. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, this is true. Like, this is true, and you should say it. But also, I'm just gonna also say another thing. That doesn't change the fact that Hollywood specifically made the animated feature film award for the Oscars because they were intimidated that Beauty and the Beast could win Best Picture.
Ah, that's right.
And that also Chicken Run could win Best Picture. No, you don't understand.
Okay, Chicken Run was a really good movie.
Chicken Run is a great movie, and
It's funny to think about how those came out at the same time.
Chicken Run is a great movie, and I do not know why more people don't talk about Chicken Run.
Because Aardman is just an eternal underdog, and no one will ever appreciate them for how they should.
Like, I love Chicken Run. It is so great, and also, you know, flip, fly, don't care if I die. It's a wonderful movie, and also, it's so quotable. I love the farmer and him just being like, those chickens are up to something. And just him seeing the gnomes taking his tools and like, so the gnomes are in on it. Like, he doesn't assume anything else. He's just like, that makes complete sense.
A good man.
I love him.
I don't even
Mrs.
remember the
Tweety.
Chicken Run is like fever dream status for me. And
I
honestly, Beauty and the Beast would be fever dream status if my great aunt, if it wasn't her favorite movie, I probably would not have watched Beauty and the Beast up to this point, which is weird, very weird to think about now that I'm saying it out loud.
that is a very weird thing, also on the grounds that it's Disney. Can I also just say,
Oh, okay, so here's the other thing. I didn't watch Sword in the Stone until last year.
I mean, that's valid. I
That's
don't,
valid.
like, Sword in the Stone is not one that I look at and go, must see, instant classic.
There was a bunch. It was like my mom and stuff that I told her that, and she was like, "How the fuck have you gone this long without seeing that movie? And I'm like, it's not even that good of a movie.
I mean...
She was prepared to defend it, and I was like, don't, just stop. Just stop.
Honestly, if you're defending Sword in the Stone as, like, the world's greatest classic, it was because you were horny for Merlin as a child.
That's a take if I ever heard one. I would not smash. I would not smash. The beard would get in the way.
Or you were a furry and you were turned on by that squirrel scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are my hot takes.
Which you know is more viable than like. You don't. It's Disney. Disney furry shit makes straight white people contemplate their life outlook.
I can safely say, at the end of the day, them Zootopia tigers maybe go, I could consider a fursona.
Oh my god! Have you seen the reanimated in anime style version of that bath scene, done by like a semi-professional studio?
I have not, but I know it'll give me. I know it'll be. I'm prepared to know that it is as horny as I'm thinking it is.
Would you like the link?
Yes, and I will glance upon it later.
It's one of those things that's like, why was this the thing that had to have this overwhelming degree of quality to it? Why?
I mean, for the same reason that, frankly, there are times in animation where, like, things that should not have the amount of detail on them are given that detail. It is because someone just really, really wanted it. Or they were bored.
But it's always furry shit.
Furries are just horny, okay? And they're always flexing. Like,
why though? Why does the horniness? Is it like in what part of the dynamic of people being horny for anatomically skewed creatures? Where does the part where an obscene amount of quality happens somewhere in there?
Listen.
Where does that happen?
Okay, I actually have. I've actually talked about this with one of my art teachers before. Nothing from SCAD, none are that weird. I mean, a lot are weird, but none I have been willing to just sit down and talk wolf porn with, But my local art teacher that I go to, whenever I'm feeling down and like I need to talk about the nature of life, the universe, and all that with. So we were talking about how, because a couple years ago, honestly, really long time, about something I had noticed in fan fiction, which was the smaller the fandom, the better the quality of the fics. And also, the more niche the topic of a fan art, usually the higher, for something, especially if it was horny, the higher the quality of the art went. To which he said, well, you have to consider, if people want something that is incredibly niche and specific, there are two options. You either have to pay for it, or you have to make it yourself. So, it comes down to two options. Are you willing to pay for art, or are you willing to make your own art?
Okay, but like you say that out loud, and you expect the answer to be, okay, so they're gonna try to make it themselves and then fail miserably.
Well,
Not the opposite.
No. Well, you also have to consider this. A lot of people who get into furries start out with just regular art hobbies, and then carry that into furriness. And also, a lot of furries commission shit. We have the joke that furries are the Medici family of the internet for a reason.
God, I hate that. Why do furries have so much money?
Because a lot of them work in tech industry jobs.
Fuck, it's all coming together.
Did you really not figure this out? I thought this was obvious.
No, I just don't know enough. I'm lame.
I mean,
That's what it comes down to.
You're also child. You're baby compared to me.
Maybe. Does the 2 years make all that difference, really?
Yes, like, I hate to say it, but it do.
Shake my head.
You're baby compared to me. You can't compete with me, baby. I'm sorry, baby. I'm gonna have to escort you out.
One day.
Goodbye, baby.
One day. Just give me 2 years.
By then I'll be 25, man.
Yeah, I know. At some point, we start going backwards.
That's not how math works, but okay.
That's how life works.
Weird flex, but fine. But, yeah, so you look at it and you think, well, if so many artists are, so many of these people are commissioning artists, so many of them are going out of their way to get real shit. So, obviously, furries kind of look like they're full of a lot of insanely talented artists. And in many regards, I think that's perfectly fine. Honestly, there are weirder or worse groups that could have large amount of art flex. Also,
For sure.
Let's be real, it makes money. Like, oh my god, does furry art make money? I want in on that.
Me too.
Furries, if you're out there, pay me. Please, I have so much debt. I have so much debt. You have no idea how much debt I have. College was a mistake. I am paying literally a rent for a really nice apartment for 15 years.
You got this. You're doing great.
I'm working at a burger place.
Fuck burgers. You just gotta go to Canada.
God damn it, there is just a fly that's been buzzing around me this entire time.
Oh, ZBrush, please don't crash.
Oh. What are you making in ZBrush, Brock?
I'll show you. I'm quite proud of how it's turning out. Fuck ZBrush though. This shit was a mistake.
I mean, honestly, fuck any program that you'll use for animation. They all hate you.
No, ZBrush is just for modeling.
I mean, it really is. Oh, hi! I'm gonna copy that and put it on stream so people can see. Ooh! So what's this gonna be for? I'm assuming some sort of class, or...
Yes, this is for ZBrush class, in fact. So it's a backpack that's gonna go on the back of a steampunk miner lady.
Ooh, I like that.
She'd be working in the mines. Now I have to make tools.
Tools are fun.
This was overscoped. I'm regretting my life decisions.
Gosh.
Okay.
Honestly,
Start the timer. We're gonna see how fast I can make 3 bullshit tools.
oh boy. Honestly, a big thing I regret from going to SCAD is that I had a minor at all. Because okay, on the one hand, I did actually really like the writing classes that I got to take. On the other hand, because I had a minor, and because I literally couldn't afford to take more classes than I was required to, it meant that it meant I had to use what were supposed to be the classes that I could take for, like, ZBrush classes. I had to use them for my writing minor. So I didn't get to take any of those classes. Which sucked ass, because I really wanted to take them. But, you know. Broke bitches can't be beggars.
ZBrush is whack. Like, if the class wasn't taught by the teacher it was being taught by, I would just be like, no, fuck ZBrush, don't fuck with this shit.
It's always about what teacher you have. Like, you know, sometimes, like, you'll have a professor there, it's like, you know, there's some professors where, like, genuinely, they're great for teaching a lecture class and nothing else.
And vice versa. Like, they're great at everything except teaching the class.
Yeah, like, gosh, like, there's one professor, like, I love him. He's a crazy old man, Professor Carly, absolutely adore him. He has the best stories that you'll ever hear. Like, I have learned so much shit about what went on in Don Bluth's studio and what he did back in the day. It was very interesting to hear him talk about, like, his experience on Tron.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, any experience from Tron. That shit had to be awesome.
It's so fascinating to hear how far we have come with 3D animation, because, like, I didn't realize that genuinely they couldn't check any of their footage until it was completely processed.
Yep.
So that meant that they were always having to, one, they had to constantly work out the math and the coordinates for everything. But two, this meant that they had to try to get it right in as few attempts as possible. Because it cost too much, because they couldn't afford the cost of if it, like, ended up taking too many tries. And, like, that's just so fascinating, because to think about that, like, you genuinely had no idea, in some regards, that what was happening for the visuals, or if it was working. Also, as he puts it, they didn't have rigs back then.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite thing is him saying, yeah, you know, you kids have it easy. He legit has said, back in my day, we didn't have rigs. You know what we had to do? We had to program our geometries, and we had to hope that the train stayed together long enough for it to work on screen, and then cobble together our assets. And I'm just like,
what is he talking about?
Oh no, I understand what he's talking about, but it's one of those things where, like, hearing that, I'm like, who would do this? Like, you know that the first 3D animated realistic human model is a character for a soup commercial?
Something like that. And then the first one that was actually good was for a Macintosh commercial.
But the big thing about this soup model, sexy robot lady.
Oh yeah. Okay, we're talking about the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. The big thing about it is he looks us all dead in the eye and goes, every one of those fingers. They had to figure out the exact math on that. And that's why it can't really move.
I don't know if I'd buy that. I'm fairly certain. Because it was definitely that way for a while, but I remember that soup commercial specifically being the first time they attempted to do something like motion tracking. Like, I know there was an actual actor involved in that process.
I mean, there was, but, like, they still had to input the math.
Yeah.
It was still a lot of math.
Fucking math. God damn it.
Like, you will never run away from it. It's everywhere. It's the worst. It's the best. It's math.
It just makes me wish I knew it.
I just...
Imagine? Okay.
No,
So,
you
like,
go.
People talk like, there's a reason rigging is the most sought after job or something. And they talk that. But imagine if that was the prerequisite for all of art.
I mean, no one would want to do art then.
No one wants to do art anyway.
Shh, they can't know. The people can't know. Brock, you can't let them in on the secret.
No, it's fine. It's not like hearing that will make them do it. Like, there's a reason we got this far and they didn't. Is because our talent lies in putting up with bullshit. Like math. And not knowing how to do it. Am I wrong?
I mean, you're not.
Alright, so that's one tool in 7 minutes. And it looks okay. It kind of looks like Voldemort's wand, but with a tumor.
So, Voldemort's wand.
A tumor just sticking. Take a screenshot of this now. Oh my gosh. This looks like it has a function, I promise.
See, its function is to be a stick. That's all. I mean, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
It does a thing. I'm certain it does a thing.
It's fine.
Like, it does that thing. You know what it is? It's a very strange drill bit.
It's a drill bit with history.
It's a drill. It's her first drill bit. She carries it for sentimental value.
What kind of drill takes the... It's a long ass drill. That's all I gotta say.
It's like one of those deep underground mining things, like, that they would use when they need to go really, really deep in the ground, like...
Except it's like 2 inches. And what's with the shape? What kind of nail is that?
Listen, all that matters is you made it in 7 minutes. Out of curiosity, when is the assignment due?
In 3 weeks.
Okay.
Which, I'm on pace, actually.
Okay, I was gonna ask if this was one of those cases of the famous, well, I had time, and then I...
No. No, you don't pass these classes if you do that.
mean,
That's
yeah.
a lie. Okay, game project, that is the way it's working out right now.
God.
I think the artists are the only people who didn't do that on our team. Which is surprising as fuck.
From how you've worded it, it's like you genuinely seem to be getting told to do shit last minute.
Well, I mean, it's deceptive. Because the thing about DigiPen is it's by semester, right? But the
Right.
semesters are 15 weeks. So there's just not a lot of time inherently. Like, this project only has 2 classes to it.
Yeah, like, that was another thing I considered when I thought about going to DigiPen. Like, Scout may be a mess in many regards, but it's more of a traditional school experience, and, like, I'm not gonna lie.
I would have killed for it. At this point, no, like, I was a little bit anxious about bragging about DigiPen to anybody.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the fact that he went to DigiPen, and I think that, like, DigiPen is up and coming and places to go. Like, I was considering Full Sail as well. Okay.
Heck that.
Like, and here's the thing: it's not that even Full Sail is good; it's that Full Sail is decent.
No, Full Sail's not good.
Like,
Full Sail is scary.
Full Sail is like, again, it's one of those things where I did talk with some people who transferred in. They're like, it's not good. It's not. Then they'd be like, it's okay. It's okay at best.
No, I almost went there as well. And then, I think I knew someone who went there and then left and then didn't get a job anywhere afterwards. And that swayed us away. Which is like, that happens all the time. That is supposed to be how school works anyway. But we let it sway us away. And then a friend of mine found DigiPen, and it was like, okay.
Yeah, I found DigiPen because I just happened to be looking for. I essentially was looking just at lists specifically of animation schools by ranking and shit, and like DigiPen was decent.
Was up there for a while.
DigiPen was decently up there as well. Like, that was the big thing. Like, it wasn't just that DigiPen was up there. It was like DigiPen was up there and it was decently up there. Cause like I wasn't. Like, I also, like, I think the big reason I didn't consider going into Cal Arts, like, I'm not gonna lie, the reason I didn't was because I didn't think I was good enough for Cal Arts.
Oh my god. And, like, that is one of the cases where it's, like, probably valid. Cal Arts doesn't let people in Cal Arts unless they're ready to produce animations right off the bat.
And I'm gonna be real. I'm not a good animator. I really am not.
It's fucking hard. It's fucking hard. You've told me that multiple times at this point.
I mean, it's not. It's so fucking hard, but, like, the big thing about me in animation is that genuinely, I'm just, like... I have come to understand that it's not that I can't do animation, it's that genuinely, anytime I do, it takes me so fucking long to do something that should be basic.
Give an example.
Okay. You know eye blinking?
Yeah.
I struggle to do eye blinks.
How many have you done? That's my next question.
I've tried to do like 8. I can never actually get them to blink.
I'm still sus. Like, I'm hearing it, and it's still just a matter of...
Like, I can't... But that, like, I am horrible at it. I think that a part of it comes from... Side note, if somehow this person ends up... If the person who I am referring to ends up hearing this, and because somehow he finds this podcast, no, you're amazing. You're great. I get it. Okay, the assignment was due in less than 24 hours, and I was holding us back. But also, I kind of had a breakdown and was not willing to go to class the next day, which was why it was a good thing it was Thursday. Because SCAD students get Friday off because you're expected to be dying in your group projects on Friday.
Damn.
But, so I had to take 3D production twice. The first time was, so I don't know, this was like a case of SCAD computers did an error, and they let me into a class that I technically didn't have the prerequisites for.
Nice.
And so I got put into a 3D production class, where you're, so the thing is for the one I was taking, you have to make, like, you have to take a 10 to 30 seconds of film and recreate it as Muppets.
Huh.
And, you know, it's to teach you some basic things and everything. And you're supposed to essentially do this from start to finish. But here's the thing. I literally hadn't taken the modeling class at this point. I didn't know how to model. I also only passed my rigging class because I literally had my roommate's girlfriend do my homework. And by do my homework, I mean I would attempt to do the thing, and then I would scream and be like, I don't understand what this is, somebody help me.
That sounds about right.
And, you know, like, and I was like, please, I just don't want to fail this class. And they'd be like, I got you. You're not failing the class. Like, I'm grateful that I was made to take a rigging class on the grounds that I understand rigging, but also fuck rigging. But the big thing of it all was that, like,
Did you have to do any coding for that class even?
Yeah, I actually did have to do some coding.
Fuck.
But the big thing with that class was, with this 3D production class, was, like, the first one where I had to do with the puppets, or the Muppets, because I had that breakdown, I had a breakdown, midway through the quarter. It was just not a good quarter for me, and I dropped that class entirely, and I was like, I'll just retake it. Like, I really need to press that. I was like, I genuinely was 5 seconds away from, like, upping the kill counter on the amount of SCAD students that had died that quarter. Because I was like, nothing is going right, I have no idea what to do, and I was just panicking with that one 3D production class, because I had no idea what I was doing at any point. Because I was also taking my Digiform class at that same fucking time. Which is, you know, the term for basic 3D modeling. So I learned everything out of order. Which was fun.
And you're a stronger person for it.
No! No, I am not. Okay, I had to retake that class, and then I had to take it again, and unfortunately, I got stuck in I took it again with a different professor, and I love this professor, he's great, or, I have conflicting feelings now since a certain email thing got public, but at the time, he really helped me through some hard shit, and made me actually say, you know, I'm sticking it out for this fucking third year and not just dropping. But the big thing to take away is that I got stuck in a group that was full of a kid that got into the class despite the fact that he clearly had no idea what the fuck he was doing. He was a writing major. I don't know how this kid got in this class.
Beautiful.
He had none of the prerequisites. He had none of the shit. We're pretty sure he got waived because he was like foreign exchange student, and that's what happened.
Mm.
And then there was the whole thing where one of my teammates, I swear to God, she literally fucked off and failed the class so that she could play Kingdom Hearts free. And because of that, we didn't have enough people for the group. And also, I don't have concrete, solid proof that it was because she fucked off to play Kingdom Hearts free. But, she did strangely have... she did strangely have this habit of being a serial liar. She had claimed that her dad had died twice to get out of shit to me.
Fucking hate that.
And also she talked smack behind my back literally while I was in the middle of my senior pitch, so fuck her. But the big thing is that literally the day after she dropped out of the, like, literally, like, the week she dropped out of class, like, I'm getting dinner, and she comes and she talks to me about what she's been up to, and she's like, yeah, I've been playing a bit of Kingdom Hearts free, and I'm like, I offered to help, because you said that your problem was you were having troubles waking up for our 11 o'clock class.
That's a lot.
And we live on the same floor. You said your big problem was that, and, like, literally, you know, she refused to let me help her, make sure she went to class on time. Anyway, she fucked me over in that regard, because she literally dropped class during the midterms, and one of the people in our group, a great girl, she got overeager on the modeling and shit. So, she kind of did everything and didn't leave any real modeling for us, except for the character modeling. But I knew from, like, experience that, like, I wasn't going to be enough of a strong character model for what we needed, since this was supposed to be, like, something where we would need a fair amount of facial expression, so I gave it to her, and the person who dropped us to play Kingdom Hearts free. Because she demanded that she have it. And at this point, we'd realized the other kid was fucking useless. So I had nothing to show from that class, and I got put onto another group, and that group was also mostly completed. And they tried to, because I asked, they tried to give me some animation, and I couldn't do any of it. I could do a mouse pressing a button. And, day of presentation comes, and they literally just edited out my animation. And that's why I don't think I'm any good at anything. Because I'm like, that is the most subtle way to say no to an animator ever. That is a lot of shade in a very simple gesture. Also, she had to take that class again. She took it with the same professor, and I had a friend who was in that class, and they were like, yeah, she's fucked up the group that she's in that quarter too.
It's crazy that that is allowed to be a thing.
The thing about SCAD is, unfortunately, because Paula Wallace wants money, they can't just destroy every student. They have to have some that are basically there to be the piggy bank.
And then she was put on a watch list.
I mean, I don't know if if this was a complete joke, but freshman year, one of my RAs said, "Now be careful about how you talk about the school dean, because someone once made a website called Paula Walrus, and it was full of nothing but pictures of Paula Wallace's face photoshopped onto walruses, and they got out around the school, and that kid got completely blacklisted from the industry." And I'm like, that sounds absolutely absurd, but I also know our dean.
I was waiting for you to say got murdered, and then you said blacklisted from the industry, and I got more scared. Wow.
Yeah.
Who gave bitches that much power? Who did that? Who did that?
Like, honestly, like, the amount of Paula Wallace will blacklist you if she doesn't like you rumors are disturbed. Like, I don't know if they're true, but I'm like, at the same time, they don't feel false. That's the part that's really creepy. Like, I remember, so, weird thing about, one of the SCAD dorms is at the time, it was technically, like, right next to a homeless camp. But you didn't see any homeless, like, ever. Like,
you alluded to this before.
Oh, yeah. This. And here's the thing. So, on my first night back for sophomore year, I befriended one of the local people who is essentially he's someone who considers himself more of a transient than a homeless person, and he purposely chooses the lifestyle and everything. And he keeps an eye out for the community, which is, that's pretty damn noble. But the big thing is, I saw him one day by the dorms, and I was like, oh, wow, I haven't actually seen anybody. I haven't seen you in a while. I was like, yeah. And then it was like, I figured, because I was visiting the camp nearby, that, like, I should say hi to you. And I was like, so, I have a question. Why do I never see you? I know there's a camp, but I never see anyone nearby around here. And he looks me dead in the eye and says, Paula Wallace pays us to stay away. And I'm like, I have no idea if what he said was a lie.
Why would it be?
Why would it be? But at the same time, it's one of those things that, like, the idea that is true is kind of just horrifying.
Oh, entirely.
Because it's like, that means my dean is a person. The school dean is someone who's genuinely like, yes, homeless people, if you take this $1, I will give you this $1 if you never go near my students. They must believe this is a gentrified white city. In Georgia.
Georgia schools paying homeless people.
You're actually Googling it.
I am half convinced that, like, paying, maybe not for schools outright, but I know paying homeless people to get the fuck off your property on a consistent basis is a thing. I am getting nothing except college students becoming homeless. Cool. Great.
Hey! Self-fulfilling prophecy?
Google fulfilling prophecy?
Somebody, please. I have a Ko-fi. Donate to me. God. Again, I love people who are like, I just don't believe you're trying hard enough to get commissions.
You gonna pay me, bitch?
I just, it's so, do you, just, my other favorite thing are people who are like, why can't you just charge $200? I'm like, because have you seen r/choosing beggars? Have you seen, like, how many, it's,
okay.
Forex.
That's like a social implication, though. That's like, I don't know. Like, if it's something that, what's the analogy? It's like, okay, you either get 1 million people to pay $1 or one person to pay $1 million. Either way, it's a valid way of earning money. You get the $1 million at the end of the day. But
I mean, yes, but then you have to take into account healthcare, food expense, car payments, interest, and suddenly, like, not getting that $1 million up front is just like...
True. Which is why you get into multiple income sources. But you have to fucking have a social media following first.
Yay!
Fuck art.
Fuck art. God.
Fuck capitalism. Who did this?
God, the thing that gets me about doing art in everything is you know how many people are like, can't you see, artists died because you don't reblog their art, and then those same people don't actually reblog art.
I mean, I ain't gonna sit here and be like, art deserves to be reblogged every time someone sees it.
Like, I don't think that it needs to be reblogged every time, but there is a certain just hypocrisy of the highest order.
Tasty hypocrisy.
Because all I can think is, you know, I'm a starving artist who would love a good reblog. Have you considered maybe tossing some my way? And they're like, nah, you're good. You have a whole how many fucking Twitter followers I have? You have a whole 37.
I'm just starting to get on Twitter.
You know, the worst thing is that, like, I have more followers on my Tumblr, and I know they're not for my art. They're for my fucking weird-ass rants about... They're for my weird-ass fucking fanfic proposals where all of them are not things I would actually ever write, but would think would be funny if they existed. Like, I just think it'd be really funny if we all started writing fics that are just awkward brunch dates. Like, because here's the thing. Coffee shop AUs don't make any sense. Why are we sexualizing the coffee shop? There's nothing actually sexy about a coffee shop. Have you worked at a coffee shop? Ew. Gross. It's basically retail. But an awkward brunch date... I mean, brunch can only go one or two ways. Really horrible or mildly okay.
It's true.
Like, anyone who says that they've had a good brunch is lying. They just are. So, why not we just make brunch sexy? But we make it sexy because brunch isn't supposed to be sexy. And therefore, it's reverse psychology. OMG, that's hip with the young kids.
I feel like you could apply that same logic to anything, though.
I mean, you can.
Like, picnic dates aren't inherently sexy.
Shower sex is not sexy.
Shower sex is not sexy.
I don't know who wants...
Shower sex is difficult as fuck.
Shower sex is difficult, and also it's, like, really dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Especially if you don't have an adhesive, and nobody in movies ever seems to. Which makes me think that, like, they're just sitting there the entire time, in which case, just move to the bed.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just gonna say it, who actually wants to get railed on a kitchen countertop?
Someone bored.
Like, if you want that, I have questions, because here's the thing about getting railed on a kitchen countertop that consistently makes me ask questions each time, is what are you going to do about the height difference? Because depending on the kitchen countertop, what if...
Depending on the kitchen,
your countertop is going to be higher than your dick. And depending on the height of the person laying on that countertop, that's just going to be a weird-ass lineup. Also, you have to trust somebody to hold up your fucking arms. Not your arms, your fucking legs. And, like, I'm sorry, I don't trust people to hold up my legs. I've seen them. They're beautiful legs, but I don't trust anybody to hold them. And more importantly, if you're not going to be fully on the counter, then you're going to be in this weird position where you're mostly leaned back, but you're bent at an angle, and that's just horrible for the tailbone.
yeah.
And I just think about that all the time.
Or your tailbone's off the countertop, in which case, would that be more or less uncomfortable? I'm not sure.
I mean, that'll be uncomfortable, because then that's just pressure on your spine.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's literally the only way this can be comfortable is, unfortunately, if you simply have the perfect height. Like, you have to design your kitchen for this sex.
Is that infeasible, though?
I mean, it's not infeasible, but it's also one of those things where it's like, what kind of rich asshole are you?
Now I want to ask kitchen architects if it's a thing for the rich white boys to design kitchens about having sex in the kitchen.
Like,
I feel like the answer as to, like, the number of people who do that would be surprising.
I feel like there has to be at least some, but, like, it's also just, again, the big thing, it's not a matter of, I can't imagine somebody doing that. It's one of those things where it's like, how much money do you have that you can burn it on kitchen sex? Like, why not spend it on just better hot tub sex?
I feel it's less money and more like, damn, you actually put the time in to design everything in a way that's like, oh, you can actually do this. Like, wow, you did that.
I mean, I think, you know what would be a fascinating project to do in Maya?
Oh boy.
Build the perfect fuck house. Okay, hear me out.
Alright.
In this house, you can feasibly... this house needs to be designed in such a way where feasibly you could fuck on any surface comfortably.
Okay.
and safely.
I'm invested in this concept now. Because, like, okay, let's say, okay, yeah, you're done. You do, everything is perfectly comfortable to fucking get nailed on, right?
Right.
You walk in, what would it look like? Would it actually feel off?
Right. That's the part that makes me go, what does this house look like? Because that's the interesting idea, because it's like, well, because obviously, you know, it's a house, but like, what is going on in that house? What's the nature of this house? Like, is there weirdly too many cabinets?
Too many what?
Cabinets. Is there too many cabinets? How weirdly?
No cabinets.
Yeah. No. Wait.
You can't fuck in the cabinets.
No. You're right. Well, cabinets can also just. I'm just wondering now about storage space. Oh God. Well, actually, you would have to design your cabinets so that they could be comfortable to fuck in.
Exactly. Or you axe the cabinets.
But that begs the question, where are people going to put their dishes?
No dishes.
No. Okay. No, I think for this challenge to really work, you have to consider...
okay.
You have to consider this as a house that people actually live in.
Okay. So, you'd probably have, like, a restaurant-grade steam-cleaning dishwasher that, like, you fucking put stuff on a belt, and then it hella steams it, and then chucks it out the other side and shit. But, like... And then those things are spacious enough that you could... I don't fucking know.
The thing about that is that, again, you would have to do a custom design because they're still made with, the steamers, unlike what Ratatouille would have you believe, because there was one at my work, like, they're not without racks. So you would have to make sure that the steamer is like the one in Ratatouille, therefore it is a smooth surface.
So at the very least, you could fuck on top of it. Okay. And here's the next distinction you have to make. Is it a matter of if there is enough space for a human body to fit in it, that's what warrants making it a fuckable space? Or does, like, just legitimately every inch of anything...
Okay, so I think... So, some exceptions... Things that are obvious everyday objects that are just, you know, like TV remotes, your dishes, basic amenities like clothing and stuff, those don't fall under the needs to be fuckable category.
Okay.
But what needs to be fuckable, what you need to be able to have your sexy on, are things that are genuine pieces of furniture, like cabinets, obviously the beds, or sinks, things like that, larger pieces, because, like, I mean, yeah, you could have a flower vase, but, like, that's just gonna be a butt plug.
Fucking God.
Like, and also, it's one of those things where, like, you know, you have to look at this with the idea that this is a house that was designed that you could have sex on it anywhere, but also, the couple here is weirdly just living in it. Like, this house is perfect for sex, but also, they're just chilling.
Yeah, like, they live there.
They're just chilling. This is just their house. This is just life. And that's the big thing, is, like, you have to look at it and go, would just removing this for the sake of making it easier on myself be kind of just, like, doing it, would that mean these people just are living inconveniently? Because, again, it's like, well, it would be weird to not have cabinets. That said, the pantry is still a walk-in pantry.
Okay, so like, there's definitely a middle ground between being able to live in it and another. There's a silver lining between living in it and fucking on everything in it, and we're trying to find it. Okay,
I feel
so for
like
cabinets,
I'm just
for
thinking
cabinets.
of that Ninja Sex Party song. I fucked all your stuff.
Fuck. Okay, all the cabinets have that. Oh, you know, like at checkout lines, there's those fold out things
Yeah.
for you to write on. All the cabinets have those on top, and they're cushioned,
Alright.
so you can fuck on the cabinet doors. And then in the cabinets, on the floor, you got fucking. There's a lot of wrestling mat padding involved in this scenario.
The thing, it's a lot of also working out weight ratio. Because it's like one of those things where like your idea for that way you could fuck on the cabinet doors thing, like that's one of those things where I'm like, in theory that could work, but then I think about...
You're eventually gonna break the cabinet.
Yeah, you're eventually gonna break the cabinet, but more importantly, it has to be a material strong enough that, like, your weight isn't gonna immediately just destroy it. Like, I think another prerequisite for this is it has to be able to survive at least 2 fucks.
Oh, fuck.
It must be able to give a fuck.
Must be able to give 2 fucks. Okay. So then you'll have to go with some unconventional cabinet type shit. Like... Okay. An idea. I'm prototyping fuck cabinets. Let's go.
This is what it means to be a cryptid. You have to think.
Feeling it.
You have to think outside of the box and occasionally fuck inside of the box.
God damn it.
Ah,
I was destined for this.
I know.
This is my life amounts to this moment.
Your life amounts to designing fuck cabinets.
Yep.
Ah, take me sexy.
Would you? I mean.
No, no offense. No offense.
No. Okay, no. Separate me from the equation. Would you, like, given that this is like a successful guy who like has a bunch of other projects under his belt and is an entrepreneur, would you fuck the guy that invented fuck cabinets? Would that make him sexy?
You know, I don't think it would. I would feel bad for him. Like, I think the man who invented fuck cabinets, and I think, what sad individual, what sad life have you been living that this is your legacy?
And
you
he's
know,
just extremely confident about
like,
it too.
like this is like a Barney Stinson, Dorian Gray level of sad.
And yet, here we are.
I just know that if a man came up to me and said, "Hey, baby, I'm the inventor," I would look him dead in the eyes and go, "Why?"
That's true. Wait, so is the stigma reach out to like the entirety of entrepreneurs? Because let's be honest.
No.
This is like higher level than what most entrepreneurs fuck with.
Here's
right?
the thing. It's not that I think there is anything wrong with spending your time inventing a fuck cabinet. It's more or less the fact that I'm like, it's one of those things where I look at it and I go, I think of the amount of money that would have to be invested in to invent a fuck cabinet. Damn it. I've been trying to be so much more mature than that.
Nope. Impossible.
I mean, we are talking about a literal fuck cabinet. But it's not that I think that it is a waste or less noble. I'm sure the rich perverts enjoy it. And I'm sure it's one of those things where it would have use, like how most things that are invented and used mainly by perverts have a lot of in private use. Would in industry have a lot of benefits and things that it's good for. But it's also just one of those, I invented the fuck cabinet.
Yeah.
Like, imagine having that on your resume. Imagine looking someone in the eyes and saying, that's right. I am the inventor of the premium steel fuck cabinet.
You'd have to give it a different name. You'd have to play it like it wasn't a fuck cabinet.
I mean, you would, but it's one of those things where, like, also, you know this man has to have a specific fetish.
Yeah.
Like, this is an incredibly niche fetish item to have spent enough time, energy, and resources on that you can stealthily make. Like, this is someone who's just really turned on by kitchen sex. This is someone who is, this also would be have to be someone who's getting off on the idea that people around the world are using his fuck cabinets.
That too.
Like we have to look at it this way, and it's just like one of those things where it's like, I wouldn't fuck this man either if he told me he was the inventor of the fuck cabinet. Not because there's anything wrong, but because I'm like, you know, your kink is valid, but also, why?
Also, you'd have to just fuck on cabinets.
Like,
for a considerable amount of time.
You would have to do so much cabinet fucking.
That's a big commitment. I don't know if I could hold up to that.
Okay, you know that would make for a considerable fuck space. But
there's potential there.
Okay, yeah, no, there is potential in this, but here's the thing. I'm also thinking, does this not create a scenario of specifically you only have really just you have to get down on your knees and onto the floor for this. I think the thing about people doing kitchen sex is they want to for some reason stand. I don't understand this, but it seems to be part of the appeal.
That's true.
So
for the sake of the scenario, I think, like, it's still possible to fuck on these cabinets.
I mean, to
a degree of comfort, but if you want to, like, fuck comfortably, don't fuck on the fuck cabinet. But you can.
I mean, like, again, the whole idea is not, the whole idea is that this is more fuckable than most things in your actual house. I feel like, though, also, we have to consider, like, I could see this as an object. I feel like, also, it needs to be able to just open only halfway and then securely stay upright, because you know somebody is gonna want, like, that bent pose where you're, like, leaned over for some reason in a perfect L, and your head is in that cabinet.
Yeah. 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 I know
Like,
what you're saying.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm thinking. You know, you saw where I was going. Like, again, we have to think about this from the perspective of T.S. Fuker Kabunat, the inventor of the fook cabinet.
Okay. I'm on a whole other wavelength right now. But okay. The sink is 3 times deeper than a normal sink.
I mean, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was thinking the sink would have to be deeper. Because, sinks are relatively shallow, like, comparatively, and there's no way to comfortably fuck in a sink.
Yeah.
Unless you have a really deep sink. So, you need a deep fuck sink.
You need a deep sink.
You need a deep sink for fuck fink. This is the best conversation I've had in months. I almost wish we had more people to debate the nature of a fuck sink.
Yeah, this is a concept that warrants like a YouTube video with 5 other people in it.
This does.
Where we just make the perfect fuck house in Maya.
This, we might have to just revisit this later with, I could introduce you to my various in-whiter friends who are also fellow perverts, if you'd be interested.
Oh boy. Hey. This is no level of perversion, okay? This is all class.
Excuse me. I broke down laughing while saying fuck cabinet.
You can that's just calling
We
it
have
what it
low
is.
class.
No, it's total class.
Is this class warfare? Okay, so here's the question. How white is the guy who's inventing the fuck cabinet?
Tasty. Man's a vampire.
Cause, yeah, like, I'm picturing, like, I'm picturing Norwegian.
That sounds right.
Like, this is some guy who grew up walking around Ikeas in Scandinavia and went, oh, if only I could fuck that.
God dang it. Makes too much sense.
It's...
No. Fuck. Any other racial denomination, you don't go the lengths to make any of this. You just fuck anywhere you want in the house. Let's be honest.
Like, yeah, also, like, it's one of those things where it's like...
Counter's too tall, I'm gonna get on my fucking toes type shit.
Or you just move to the bed like a sane person. Just saying. Like, I want to believe that there wouldn't... I want to believe that there would not be someone dumb enough that wasn't white to invent a fuck cabinet and a fuck sink. Because you know they're invented by the same person.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's ways for a deep sink to come about.
Well, no, you're right. The fuck sink is less... You know what it is? It's fuck countertops, because here's the thing.
They gotta be lower than actual countertops.
They have to be
Hands
low...
down. And that's the only reason to have lower countertops.
That's literally, if your countertops are low enough that you can comfortably sit on them, that's a fuck top.
That's a solid ass name.
A fuck top?
The fuck top.
Again, I only speak the truth. I told you this when we met. And we can conclude that the only conceivable way like, again, is if you have a fuck top. And if you have a fuck top, I'm just gonna say it, I'm not going to your house anymore, and I will not cook for you.
Dude. I had a very awful thought.
Oh no.
Okay, so I want you to picture, it's a normal kitchen. It doesn't have a fuck top, it has a countertop. All the cabinets, instead of like ending at a normal distance to the floor, they end about, I mean, what? So that's like an inch of space between the cabinet door and the floor. You're gonna want to increase that to about 6 inches.
Okay.
So all the cabinets just end abruptly above the floor at a stupid distance. And the solution to fucking in this kitchen is, instead of having a fuck top, you click a button on a remote or something, and the entire floor of the kitchen raises 6 inches.
I hate that.
Yeah?
I genuinely hate that.
Yeah.
That. Why?
To avoid the social backlash you would get from having a fuck top.
Okay, but then people are just gonna have a question of why there's a button. Why is there a button?
Because you can't put that shit on the wall.
Excuse me,
Someone's gonna accidentally activate the fuck floor.
Someone, likely your kids, is somehow gonna find...
Oh yeah, and the kids find it, and then you gotta, like, be worried about them erasing the fuck floor on accident.
Like...
They're gonna treat that shit like a toy. No.
I'm just like, the fuck... Like, the other thing is I'm just imagining that from an architectural standpoint, and that's just the most absurd thing I have heard.
Very much holding back the urge to just say use redstone on that one.
Oh, bad time to go for a sip.
Yeah, huh?
You know...
Spit take on stream, win.
Thanks. My date tea thanks you.
Date tea.
Yeah, it's...
That's niche.
I like teas, and I like weird teas.
Dates?
Yeah, it's really sweet. It's like
I have
this...
to Google dates. What the fuck is a date? That's a date.
Brock, why is there so much you don't know?
I am lame.
I jokingly called you a himbo, but I'm beginning to think it's true.
No. My stupidity is past himbo level.
Ah!
I'm trying to think.
Dimbo.
What level of stupidity does it stop being cute and it starts being concerning?
Let's see.
'Cause I'm like right there.
Let's see. I feel like if you looked me dead in the eye and said, sharks aren't smooth, I would be concerned.
How the fuck would you know? Have you felt one?
Sharks are smooth as fuck.
Actually, yes, I have felt a shark, and they are smooth. I'm not that lame. I felt a shark before, guy.
I have two, actually. I went to a lot of aquariums.
Stingrays, however.
I love petting stingrays.
Stingrays can be rough on command.
I mean, they can, and it's really cool. I actually, I went to a lot of aquariums back in the day because I wanted so much to be a marine biologist because I just wanted to swim with whales.
SpongeBob.
And then I learned that most of the time you're just looking at plankton. I said, fuck that. And then I said, I'll do art school because I also didn't want to be an engineer.
2 steps away from SpongeBob.
I'm 2 away from Hillenberg. Please, I've worked now. I'm literally working at a burger place. Come on, Steve. Come on, please let your ghost bless me and get me that internship at Nickelodeon. I don't care that they have already desecrated your beloved creation. Ghost of Steve.
Just make another one.
There can only be
another SpongeBob.
There can only be one Bob. How dare you?
Well, I mean, across the lore of the show, there's 4.
There is one Bob, like there is one God, the flying spaghetti monster.
Huh.
Pastafarianism for the win. Okay.
Truth be told, that's the first time I've heard that word.
In many ways, I wish you could see my face.
I feel it. I feel the vibes.
You can feel me staring.
It's a dash of hatred.
It's a dash of hatred. It's a dash
of disgust.
A little, a fair handful of disappointment, and
I'm getting a hint of excitement. Murderous intent, maybe.
A hint of spaghetti.
God forbid.
So anyway, if you have not heard of our great lord, the one supreme ruler, the flying spaghetti monster.
No. I know who the flying spaghetti monster is. I just didn't know the name of the flying spaghetti monster religion.
Oh, thank God! You at least
It's
know.
Pastafarianism.
I'm surprised. You know, actually, no. I actually can't imagine that for a bit, because I do know most people just jokingly say Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, but meanwhile, I'm like, it's Pastafarianism. God, you insolent rubes.
It's so much better. Like, why would you not use that?
I mean, you get to say the word Pastafarianism.
Exactly.
And that's just
dope.
That's just an inherently awesome word. Like, it's Pastafarianism. It's like pasta.
If there's going to be a Pastafarianism, there's also got to be an anti-Pastafarianism.
That's Christianity. They're trying to erase what our Lord really is.
I mean, I'm down to call Christianity anti-Pastafarianism.
Okay, my favorite thing though about the Church of the Flying Spaghetti ad about Pastafarianism is that it weirdly is not about spaghetti. It's literally, the whole thing is pirates, man. Pirates. Everything comes down to pirates.
I'm gonna need an explanation. Because holy fuck. I wasn't ready for this degree of a revelation today, I'm gonna be honest.
Alright, I will give you a brief explanation on Pastafarianism, and
I'm being indicted.
And then, sadly, we'll have to go after that because it is 12:20.
Fuck.
Yes, and I have work in the morning.
What is time?
An illusion, but also I kind of have to make sure that I get my hours because my phone broke, and I do need to make sure that I have enough time to actually get to the mall.
Yeah.
Because fuck everything. Am I right, boys?
Fuck name of Fel's phone.
It's an LG Stylo 4.
Can you even get that repaired?
I don't know.
You're gonna find out.
Probably not.
Godspeed.
Alright, so the thing about Pastafarianism and its whole big things is one of the whole main tenets is that, like, one, the flying spaghetti monster created the world after a heavy bender, and because they were drunk, the world is flawed. And all evidence of evolution, that's the flying spaghetti monster, and it's a whole thing to test the faith of the Pastafarianisms. And when radiocarbon dating is affecting the age, that's because the flying spaghetti monster is changing the results with his noodly appendages. In heaven, there is a beer volcano and a stripper factory. And hell is really similar, except the beer is stale and the strippers have STDs. And according to Pastafarianisms, pirates and all that are incredibly important. And that they are peace-loving explorers and spreaders of goodwill who give candy to small children. Modern pirates are no way similar. And also that ghost pirates are why the Bermuda Triangle is weird, and you must celebrate on International Talk Like a Pirate Day, as well as the fact that the lack of pirates in the world is a cause for global warming. And that if we were to increase the amount of pirates in the world, we could decrease global warming.
I'm gonna call all that legit. After hearing it, how would I not? Makes so much sense.
Pastafarianism is great, and I do think it is funny that some people that there is this joke that, that I do think it's funny, like any made up cult, there is at least one guy who takes it seriously.
Yeah.
But we all know better. It's fine. And besides, his noodly appendage is out there to touch us.
But if the cult ever does end up being fake, that's just due to this flying spaghetti monster changing reality.
With his noodly appendage, exactly. So, I think it's safe to say that this has been an interesting night. We have discussed the nature of fuck cabinets.
We're gonna bring that back.
We have to.
YouTube
Like,
video material.
This is too important. We've discussed art, we've discussed many things. Honestly, fuck cabinets is the only thing I'm gonna remember.
Yeah, me too. No, at this point, it's the only thing I do remember.
It is. Like, I know we talked about movies and media analysis, but I only remember fuck cabinets.
DigiPen was in there somewhere, and he roasted the fuck out of it, but I don't remember how exactly. But we made fuck cabinets, though.
This is very much a fuck cabinets are the best thing ever time.
I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, you're right. More like fuck cabinets were the most interesting thing we could think of this entire evening.
I've thought of something more interesting.
Oh?
Fuck cabinets with spikes on them.
Okay, but why?
To keep you from using the fuck cabinet.
Why would you have a fuck No. No. Okay, on that note, on that note,
I'm
hi.
so proud. I'm so proud of what I just thought of. You don't even understand, bro.
I hate you so much. Okay, so this has been my guest, the wonderful Brockjay. Find him over on Twitter at at Brockjay. And I have been your host, Felonous Felony, and I am obviously anime cat girl, but underneath my uwu cat dress, it's nothing but spiders.
I am just a collected massive spider.
Yes, but we all form a anime cat girl.
Man.
The dream.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night!